James K. Polk was the 11th President of the United States, serving from 1845 to 1849. During his campaign, he promised to only serve one term. Some of the major issues and successes of his presidency include the annexation of Texas, which declared its independence from Mexico in 1836. Polk supported the annexation of Texas, and in 1845, Congress approved Texas's state constitution and Polk signed and made it official. This action was met with resistance from Mexico, which considered the annexation an act of aggression. In 1846, tensions between the United States and Mexico escalated into a full-blown war over the annexation of Texas and other disputed border issues. The war ended in 1848 with the signing of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which officially ended hostilities and ceded large swaths of territory to the United States, including present-day California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and parts of Colorado, Wyoming, Kansas, and Oklahoma. The war was controversial at the time and remains so today, with some critics arguing that it was an unjust war of aggression. However, the acquisition of California and the Southwest from Mexico allowed the United States to gain control of important port cities, such as San Francisco, and it opened up new opportunities for Western expansion and settlement. The acquisition also helped to cement the United States' position as a continental power. Another major issue during Polk's presidency was the dispute over the Oregon Territory, which was claimed by the United States and Great Britain. After several years of negotiations and tensions, the two countries reached a compromise in 1846 with the signing of the Oregon Treaty, which established the 49th parallel as the border between the United States and Canada, which was then part of the British Empire. In addition to his expansionist foreign policy, Polk also pursued several domestic initiatives during his presidency. He worked to reduce tariffs and lower the national debt, and he supported the establishment of a national mint. Polk also signed the Walker Tariff of 1846. The tariff was named after Robert J. Walker, who served as Polk's Treasury Secretary and was a major advocate for tariff reduction. At the time, the U.S. had a high tariff rate, which had been established to protect domestic industries and revenue. However, the high tariffs also led to trade disputes with other countries, and many Americans believed that the tariffs were hindering economic growth. The Walker Tariff sought to address these concerns by reducing the tariff rate on a wide range of imported goods. The Walker Tariff had several economic effects. It helped to lower prices on imported goods, which made them more affordable for American consumers. It also encouraged trade with other countries, as lower tariffs made American goods more competitive in international markets. This increased trade helped to stimulate economic growth and create new jobs in the United States. However, the tariff was also controversial, as it reduced revenue for the federal government and led to opposition from some domestic industries that feared competition from imported goods. Overall, the Walker Tariff was seen as a major success for the American economy, as it helped to lower prices, increase trade, and stimulate economic growth. President Polk also revived the Independent Treasury Act of 1840, which established a system for the safekeeping and disbursement of federal funds. In 1840, Martin Van Buren signed the act into law, but the Whigs repealed it once they took office. Before the act, federal funds were deposited in banks, which were allowed to use the funds for their purposes, such as lending and investing. This system had led to financial instability and corruption, and it was seen as a major contributor to the Panic of 1837, a financial crisis that devastated the American economy. The Independent Treasury Act sought to address these issues by establishing a system in which federal funds would be held in a separate, independent system and not be used by banks for their purposes. The act also established a system for the disbursement of federal funds, which helped to increase financial stability and reduce the risk of corruption. The Independent Treasury Act was seen as a major reform, as it helped to increase financial stability and reduce the risk of corruption. It was also controversial, as it was opposed by some banks and financial institutions that stood to lose from the loss of access to federal funds. Overall, the act helped to modernize the financial system and improve the management of federal funds. Polk also oversaw the establishment of the Department of the Interior and the Smithsonian Institution, and he signed legislation that established the Naval Academy and the United States Military Academy at West Point. He also supported the expansion of the telegraph and the establishment of a national patent office. The telegraph was a new and revolutionary technology in the mid-19th century, and Polk recognized its potential to improve communication and facilitate economic development. During his presidency, he oversaw the expansion of the telegraph network, including the construction of new telegraph lines and the establishment of telegraph offices in major cities. Polk also recognized the importance of intellectual property and innovation in driving economic growth, and he supported the establishment of a national patent office. In 1836, the United States established a patent office, but it was not a fully independent agency. In 1849, Polk signed legislation that established the United States Patent Office as a separate and independent agency, with the authority to issue patents and trademarks. This legislation helped to streamline the patent process and encourage innovation in the United States. Polk's presidency is generally seen as successful for the significant expansion of American territory and for his efforts to modernize the government and economy.